Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
It is a perfect day for baseball here at Rogers Center. The second of 3 games against Ron Washington's Texas Rangers. The Rangers clinging to a 2-game lead in the AL West. And now let's take a look at their lineup. The lineups are brought to you by TD Canada Trust. Banking can be this comfortable. Kinsler, Quintanilla, and Michael Young. Michael Young with 1,989 career hits, closing in on that 2,000 hit plateau. Mike Napoli has done a good job behind the plate. Mitch Moreland is in right field now. Nelson Cruz has a strained quad. He's available but not ready to start. Toriyama, Murphy, Chris Davis is at third base. Andy Chavez is the center fielder, and they're set to take on Brad Mills.
This afternoon's starting pitcher brought to you by Tim Hortons Original Biscuit Breakfast Sandwich, now with hickory smoked ham. Brad Mills made 20 starts at Las Vegas of the Pacific Coast League. He has appeared at the major league level each of the past 3 seasons. His last start in the big leagues came last August 12th versus Boston. He had a no decision. He actually had 7 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings against the Red Sox. He has never faced the Rangers in his career.
A little different look in the outfield today. Rajay Davis gets the start in left field with the left-hander Derek Hall on the mound. Colby Rasmus, Eric Thames, Yunel Escobar, John McDonald at second base. Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion at the corners, and Brad Mills will throw to J.P. Arancibia.
Johnny Mack has played all over the infield. This is his 12th start this afternoon at second base this year.
We are set for action. The leadoff hitter Ian Kinsler, 0 for 5 last night. First pitch, strike. For some reason, they took that first pitch out of the game by design. 0-2.
Kinsler's been going through a little bit of a rough stretch right now, hitting out that leadoff spot. He is 0 for his last 18, and in his last 9 games, just 6 hits, a home run, 4 RBIs, and 7 strikeouts. Blue Jays have pitched him very soft, and they've kept the ball away from him.
That ball was down and away. It's a ball and 2 strike. Brad Mills made 20 starts in AAA Las Vegas, 9-7 record. His ERA 3.99, and that's a pretty good ERA in a hitters league, Pacific Coast League. Good off-speed pitch.
PCL battered Buck hitting just .267 this year against Brad Mills.
There's major league numbers. 9 games. This was his 6th career big league start. Line drive left field. Rajay Davis got a good jump and makes an easy play of it. 1 out.
So let's find out a little bit more about Brad Mills. The scouting report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners spot the fastball. That's what he's going to have to do this afternoon because he is not overpowering. He's got a big break to his curveball, and I think he'll need to speed up the bat today. He'll throw a changeup at any time. So if he can speed up the bat with that changeup and that breaking ball to make his fastball that much more effective.
Brad Mills will work to Omar Quintanilla, who gets the start. At shortstop, Quintanilla, a veteran backup infielder, and he's here providing some depth. You see his numbers from AAA Round Rock, hitting nearly 300.
Ron Washington emptying the bench this afternoon to get some of the regulars some time off. We talked about the travel that they had coming from Texas, how late they got in a couple of nights ago. Day game after night game, so Ron Washington mixing it up, giving 3 regulars a day off.
Brad Mills pitching with a lot of confidence, very aggressive early in this ball game, throwing a lot of strikes. He's ahead of Quintanilla, 0-2. Just off the outside corner.
That's the big breaking curveball that we talked about in the scouting report. That he'll throw it to the lefties or the righties, doesn't matter.
Upstairs. Not going to light you up with the radar gun. He doesn't throw hard, but it's not what it's all about. He'll spot the fastball, get it up into the upper 80s, but then utilize the off-speed pitches that he'll throw anytime.
He'll have to rely on his catcher, J.P. Arancibia, I think, this afternoon to help him get through this lineup.
Good fastball there, strikes out Quintanilla. 2 up, 2 down in the first. Josh Hamilton normally hits third in this lineup. He had a tough night last night as he went 0 for 4, plus the fact he has not done a thing during day games.
That is surprising. A 111 average. A lot has been talked about Josh Hamilton, and in the daytime, wearing sunglasses, telling sports writers that it's tough to pick up the ball during the daytime. His numbers certainly reflect that. Also, he has had troubles against left-handed pitching of late. Just 5 for his last 26 against left-handers.
So Ron Washington not really trying to go against the numbers. So you know what? Let's just give him the day off, let him regroup a little bit, and see if we can get him back out there tomorrow. Michael Young, he's not had any problems. He can hit midnight. He can hit 4 in the morning. He can hit at 1 in the afternoon. He can hit. 1,989 career hits. He's just 11 away from that 2,000 hit plateau. Having a monster season.
72 RBIs for Michael Young.
Hit on the ground. Bautista comes after it. Good inning for Brad Mills. A 1-2-3 first inning. He's got a strikeout as well. Top of the order when we come back. The red hot Yunel Escobar will lead things off. Kobe Rasmus, and they're talking about Derek Holland. You can bet Rasmus will bat second in this Blue Jays lineup, looking for his first hit. Yunel Escobar's had no problems. He is fourth in the number of hits in the month of July, hitting .307. Rasmus still looking for his first hit. Bautista, average still up over 320. Lind is the DH. Edwin Encarnacion's at first. Eric Thames is swinging a great bat. Rajai Davis makes the start in left field. McDonald at second, and J.P. Arancibia.
Derek Holland's just 24 years old, and since losing to Florida on July the 2nd, he has reeled off 3 straight wins with an ERA just over 2. Held the Twins to an unearned run over 6 innings on Monday.
Holland, very intriguing young left-hander. 21 starts so far this season. He's given up a few more hits than you'd like to see, but lately, as you mentioned, Bat, he's been pretty sharp.
Much better. You can see the walks to strikeout ratio. It's better than it was his first couple of years in the big leagues, and getting better again. Just 24 years old, and he's learning as he goes along. His stuff is outstanding when you watch him operate today. A good hard fastball, sweeping breaking ball. Toronto has had their way with him. He struck out 8 last year, but he gave up 3 hits the last time the Blue Jays saw him in September.
Daniel Escobar closing in on 100 games for the season. His average still up over 300. He was shut out in last night's game. That hit off Holland, and Kinsler quickly makes the play at first base. Escobar is out with the head first slide. Well, Kinsler's played great in this series so far. That's
3 times in the 2 games that Ian Kinsler has taken away a hit from a Blue Jay by shading the batters toward the middle of the diamond. Helped by the deflection off the glove of Derek Holland, but it goes right over the bag at second base, and there's Kinsler just ahead of the slide by Escobar. Quick hands and a strong arm to get the runner over at first base.
Kinsler gets so much attention because of his bat, but we have seen him play very well in the field. Takes a hit away from Escobar. Jacoby Rasmus, the center fielder, takes the first pitch strike. Rasmus, you can see he's wearing the sunglasses. Very bright here today, and certainly you have to deal with that sun and the glare, trying to get the best look you can at Derek Holland.
It doesn't help that you're facing a left-hander who throws 95 with a good breaking ball, so he'll have to stay on the ball this afternoon.
Perfect day for baseball. Gorgeous afternoon. 1-1. Rasmus taps it foul at home plate. Derek Holland is really an interesting study. He's a kid that didn't get much attention out of high school. He went to junior college and really developed. He was basically kind of a draft and follow guy by the Rangers, drafted in the 25th round.
Out of Wallace State Community College in Alabama. Really a hotbed for baseball when it comes to junior college.
Now, Holland was an Ohio kid, grew up in Newark, Ohio, and just didn't get any attention. He had dreams and aspirations of going to Ohio State. He lived only about 45 minutes from Columbus and thought that would be a good fit for him. Rasmus pops it up. Bright sunny day. Quintanilla calling for it and makes the catch. 2 down.
Third baseman, number 19, Jose Bautista.
Well, the crowd here at Rogers Center will let you know who's hitting. 2 outs for Jose Bautista. Jose just 1 for 7 against Derek Holland, and lately he's been having an issue with his timing, really in between on really locking in.
It all starts with the leg kick that he has, and you remember when he came here a few years ago, the leg kick helped him to get his timing down. Get started just a little bit earlier.
Fouls that ball back. One thing we haven't seen with Bautista of late, and you saw the numbers, just over 200 lately, but we haven't seen him pull many balls down the left field line, even foul. That's when he's really going well.
In between. That's what it looks like right now.
Pops this one up. Michael Young dealing with the sun. He's not going to make the play. They told you it's a bright, hazy day here. He's dealing with that sun, and you can see he was in trouble from the moment that ball hit its apex.
It got up, he called everybody off, and it drifted on him. You see him starting to drift towards second base. It didn't even get a glove on it as Kinsler backs away from it. Young watches, you see him off to the side playing the ball and trying to get it off to the side, but it just gets lost in the sun. And it'll go as the first hit by the Blue Jays.
Adam Lind takes one outside. That's going to be a challenge for all the defenders all afternoon. That sun basically camped right up over the top of Rogers Center, and anything in the air, you're going to look straight up into that sun.
At this point, there are no clouds in the sky. And that gives the fielder the depth perception of the baseball when it gets up into the sky. When you've got bright blue sunshine, the ball goes up and literally disappears. And you've got to wait for it to come down before you can see it again. Imagine a white baseball up into that spot.
There goes Bautista. Quintanilla was covering second, and the throw was offline, but Linda's tagged down. Interesting first half inning for Derek Holland. He gives up a pop-up single and nothing more. He doesn't miss a trick. He took the field early on to start this game, and the first thing he did was check his sunglasses, had to look up into that sunshine and recognize it's going to be a challenge for defenders here this afternoon.
He's got the old-fashioned sunglasses also. I love it. There's Edwin Encarnacion on the right side, and I like what McDonald said. A ball up in the air, I've got a better angle on it than some of the corner players. Encarnacion dealing with it also at first base.
So we will start the top of the second. Mike Napoli, the catcher. Napoli is hitting in the cleanup spot today. We mentioned it. Nelson Cruz left the game last night after tweaking a quad muscle. Interesting, he did it playing catch with the ball boy down the right field line in between innings. First pitch strike to the power hitting catcher, Mike Napoli. Napoli had a home run last night in the ninth inning. He led off the ninth inning with a solo shot to the Bull Jays bullpen. It was his 14th home run of the season. Boy, Mills is throwing some strikes and some quality strikes.
Chasing that strike zone. You're going to have to, I think, against these Rangers. Mike Napoli, just another one of their hitters who is in a groove right now. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs over his last 13 games.
Mike Napoli left the Angels with a reputation of not being a real strong catcher as far as calling a game, and I spoke with Steve Busby, who's working radio for the Rangers. He said he's been outstanding.
His catcher's earned run average of 245, the best on the team. And his game calling and his leadership behind the plate, I think, has a little something to do with Derek Holland's run right now.
Yeah, he's been Holland's exclusive catcher over this hot streak. Out in front of that off-speed pitch. Napoli spent part of the last 5 seasons with the Angels, and of course anytime we talk Angels we mention their great manager Mike Scioscia and how challenging he is on catchers. And Busby spoke to Napoli about some of the things Scioscia said. He said, first and foremost, as a catcher, you got to block the ball. There's a base hit to left field for Napoli. That'll start things off for the Rangers here in the second. Brad Mills, a fourth-round pick in 2007 of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's had a good minor league career. Anytime you have a winning pitcher over an extended period, and he has been a starter. He's only made 4 relief appearances in his minor league career, and he's got decent numbers.
Whip, which is walks plus hits in innings pitched, 1.2 is pretty good. The whip was the lowest on the club in AAA this year. He'll throw strikes. Again, he won't blow the ball by you. The number that sticks out for me on what we just saw there about Mills is his earned run average was good in the minor leagues. That more than wins and losses does a lot.
Outside. Mitch Moreland, he's playing in right field this afternoon, and the Blue Jays use a shift against Moreland as they do against Josh Hamilton when he's in the lineup. Bautista, the third baseman, in that 3-4 hole. That ball is drilled toward the gap in right center, and it's carrying right out of this ballpark. 2-run home run for Mitch Moreland. No problem with the left-hander on the mound.
He came into this game hitting .210 against left-handed pitching. 2 extra base hits all season long, both of those doubles. But no problem there. Home run number 13 for Moreland. Looked like a pitch that was out over the plate. Aaron Sebia slides to the outside part, and it stays in the middle. About belt high, and he doesn't miss it.
2-0 Texas Ranger lead for Moreland. That's home run number 13. There's a lot of balance in this lineup as far as the power goes.
They have had trouble for some reason against left-handed pitching over their last 11 games. The Rangers. They had lost 7 of the 11 games that they have faced. They've lost to Cecil twice. They lost to Brian Dunsing the other day down in Texas. And Brad Mills gets the start today, another lefty. So I think John Farrell's seeing those numbers against the Rangers and will start a lefty.
Texas for the season 17-16 against left-handed starters. You would think it might be a little bit better when you consider when healthy. They've got Beltre, they've got Cruz, they've got Michael Young, a lot of good right-handed bats. To his credit, Brad Mills came right back against Torrealba and got ahead of him. Now it's a 1-2 count. Off-speed pitch. Bounced to short. Torrealba's out. First out of the inning. Blue Jays have given up home runs early. In the last 3 games, they gave up 2 home runs on Thursday night in the first inning. J.J. Hardy and Vladimir Guerrero. Last night, Nelson Cruz went deep to lead off the second, and here, Mitch Moreland hits a 2-run home run in the second inning. Good news about that. The Blue Jays have won the first 2 games. David Murphy gets the start against the left-hander. Murphy went 0 for 4 in last night's game. Ball in the strike. Been swinging a hot bat. Ron Washington anxious to get him in there, see if he can't continue. We mentioned Brad Mills. His ERA in the Pacific Coast League, 3.99. That's 5th best in the league. But only 5 starters, 5 qualified pitchers had an ERA under 4 in the whole league. Big bouncing ball to McDonald, and he can't make a play on it. It's an infield hit. McDonald had it in the webbing of his glove, and when he went to transfer to his throwing hand, he couldn't find the handle.
When it gets hot, the roof is open. In the summertime, the turf here gets very spongy and springy. Look at the last hop to McDonald. He was expecting that about shoulder high. And that last bounce took off and bounced away from him right there. Got it in the webbing, but then just couldn't shovel it to Encarnacion to finish off the play. And Murphy with good speed busting it out of the box. He'll get an infield single.
Chris Davis, another left-handed hitter. Pitch outside. Davis starting at third base. broke with the club, got sent back to the minor, and he's just recently rejoined the ball club. He came up to the Rangers when the Blue Jays were last in Arlington.
That's when Adrian Beltre went on the disabled list. He's been playing a good third base. He can also play first base. He's played some corner outfield for the Texas Rangers, and there are his numbers while he was in AAA this year.
48 games. He's played in 48 games. He hit 24 home runs and drove in 66. Rangers have their fingers crossed that that power will translate into the big leagues. But he absolutely wore out AAA pitching.
So there's no sense having him in AAA. I mean, he's done everything that he could do there.
Now with Beltre on the DL with that hamstring injury, Davis is going to get an opportunity to utilize some of that big power. Ground ball. McDonald backhands. Quick toss to Escobar. What a pretty play. John McDonald. I mean, that ball wasn't in his glove for a second. He barehanded it, flipped to Escobar, who made quick work of it. Beautiful double play. 4-6-3 double play. Watch how quickly McDonald flips to Escobar right on the money. In today's game, you could win amazing prizes from Sharp, including Canada's largest LCD TV, a 60-inch Sharp Aquos. Enter online at hitahomrunwithsharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger, better. Edwin Encarnacion takes a first pitch strike from Derek Holland. Another big night for Encarnacion last night. 2 hits, and he was on base 4 times. He also had a couple of walks. Bounces this ball to third. Big hop for Chris Davis. Offline. Oh, he said Michael Young tagged him. It looked like Encarnacion was past Young when he swiped at him, and Davis's throw was offline.
There is not any argument from Encarnacion or Torey Lovullo, the first base coach of the Blue Jays. So they feel like Michael Young was able to make the tag. The ball was tapped down the third base line by Encarnacion. Davis has to catch it and throw on the run, and the ball sails on him. And it looked like Michael Young might have got him in the shoulder. Young making his 26th start at first base. Completes the play. Right there, right on his elbow, right around the shoulder area.
Eric Thames, ground ball to Young. He's been busy. He'll go to the bag and beat Thames. 2 outs here in the second. Michael Young, he'll play anywhere for you. He just wants to be in the lineup, and why not? What a great hitter. He's had an outstanding career. Blue Jays traded him from the minor leagues. He was in Double-A when he went to Texas in exchange for Esteban Loaiza.
Remember this winter when they were going to sign Adrian Beltre, and they were going to go, well, boy, that makes Michael Young a very good trade chip. And they did the right thing in holding on to him He can play first. He's going to play third with Beltre on the DL. 337 average, 72 RBIs already. Just keeps doing everything. Tough to trade a player like that.
Plus, he's the backbone of your team. Clubhouse leader, terrific player, and comes every day ready to play. Rajai Davis getting the start in left field this afternoon. Fouls that one back. Derek Holland, left-hander starting today. C.J. Wilson, another left-hander, will start tomorrow. More than likely, Rajai Davis will be back in the lineup again tomorrow afternoon. Change-up cued off the end of the bat.
He'll be in the outfield tomorrow. C.J. Wilson is tough and tougher on left-handers, so you got to fill up the lineup with some right-handers. And Rajai does things when he gets on base that nobody else on this team can do. It's very disruptive to the opposition. Dynamic base runner. Whenever he's on first base, it just, you say, okay, he'll be on third here in about 3 pitches. And he has done a good job of stealing bases this year.
Fastball got away from Holland. It's a full count. Rajai Davis, he makes things happen when he gets on. 31 steals in 41 attempts. Colby Rasmus playing in his 3rd game. There's a little flare down the right side. Mitch Moreland over, and it's just foul.
Well, that ball bounces into the stands. Let's take a look at the scouting report. Calm and confident is how you describe Derek Holland when he is on the mound. Doesn't really get overly excited. He's got late life to his fastball. It's mid-90s, but he's got a little jump right at the end, and he's got the sweeping slider that he will use to finish off the batters. His changeup is a pitch in progress. That's a ball that he is just trying to get a feel for.
Davis takes the 2-out walk. 3-2 pitch missed downstairs. Exactly where they want to see Rajai Davis all afternoon. Get him on the bases. And Derek Holland will work out of the stretch.
Mike Napoli right out to the mound to talk to his young left-hander, and I'm sure he's telling him, look, we all know that Rajai Davis is going to try and steal. Let's get ahead of the hitter. Let's go ahead with 2 outs. Go ahead and try and get this guy here. Let me take care of Rajai Davis.
His combinations have been very effective. Derek Holland and Mike Napoli. Napoli's thrown out 36% of the runners. Davis, big lead. Ball misses downstairs to John McDonald. McDonald has played in 55 games. What a terrific utility player he is. You have the ability to put him anywhere on the field.
That play you described to end the top of the inning, the double play, how the quick transfer, it's almost like he's a brick wall out there. The ball comes and just ricochets to second base. That's how quick he is in turning the double play. Give a good feed to your partner at second base.
It's like that old Atari game, Pong, where the ball used to just bounce off his hand. We'll go right to the second base bag, right to the bag every time.
And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens with a lot of work. Rajai Davis trying to get some work in here, trying to steal a sign from the catcher.
McDonald bunts it up the third base line. Holland gets to it. Throw to first base is in the dirt, and it bounces out of play. Davis will be sent back to third base. It's a base hit and an error on the pitcher. As John McDonald put down a perfect bunt, he'll be credited with the base hit.
Tries to drag a bunt. Davis not taking off until the ball is thrown, and it's 2 bases from where the ball gets away. And you can see from that replay, Rajai Davis had not gotten to second base, so he will be taken back to third as McDonald lays down the bunt. He'll be credited with an infield single. The error to Holland. And that will bring Ron Washington out very quickly to talk to his starter.
Just to make sure that Colin regroups before facing the red-hot J.P. Arencibia. Second and third, 2 outs. Arencibia, 5 home runs in his last 6 games. Had the game winner in last night's game, a 3-run home run in the 5th. Good cut of the fastball. Arencibia has been swinging a red-hot bat in the 9th spot in the lineup. Really has done a great job. It's freed him up. Doesn't have to think about being a run producer. Just have good at bats. Get good pitches to hit. And good things have happened for him. First time that the number 9 hitter has had a stretch of 5 home runs over the span of 6 games since 1987, when Dale Swaim of the Brewers did it. 1987. This ball is popped up. Remember, it's a tough Sun field today. Long run for Michael Young, and he's not going to get there.
JP in the number 9 hole. Look what he has done. 385 average. 8 games, 7 home runs, 14 RBIs. The rest of the time when he is out of the number 9 slot, not very good. But what he has done over the last 6 games is very rare. When you talk about the 5 home runs in his last 6 games, you mentioned Dale Swaim. It only happened one other time in Major League history, other than Arencibia and Swaim.
That was the most unusual situation of all, and we'll explain that. 1 and 2, 2 outs. Fouled out of play. The only other situation in which a player hit 5 home runs over the span of 6 games, it was Don Drysdale in 1958. That's right, the pitcher, Don Drysdale. First year the Dodgers were in California, they played at the Coliseum. Drysdale was a great hitter, but in '58 he hit 7 home runs in the course of 14 games. Outside.
My question is, why is he hitting 9th if he's got 7 home runs in 14 games?
He was used as a pinch hitter quite a bit. Drysdale would always have these great big logs of bats. I remember picking up his bat once at Dodger Stadium, and it was a monster. He's a big man. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Upstairs, it's a full count. Yunel Escobar, the leadoff batter, is on deck. Rajay Davis took a 2-out walk. He's ended up at third base. John McDonald, perfectly executed bunt, moves to second on the air by the pitcher. And J.P. Arencibia, full count, 2 outs. Strike 3 call, off-speed pitch, and Arencibia couldn't pull the trigger. Derek Holland gets out of a 2nd inning jam with a strikeout, his first of the afternoon. Holland has been all about power, and he crosses up Arencibia. A high breaking ball does it. Alomar Hall of Fame Day. The pregame ceremony will begin about 1 o'clock. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame bobblehead. Call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com. Stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Roberto Alomar will be honored in tomorrow's game, and he will also have his number retired. Very significant day in the Blue Jays history as Roberto Alomar, the Hall of Famer, will be here for the retiring of his uniform.
I can't wait for tomorrow to see what the Blue Jays have up their sleeve when they're going to honor Robbie. Where they're going to hang the jersey, how they're going to do it. Those are things that well deserved. So it should be a fun day.
Should be a full house and a beautiful day, so come on down and join the festivities. Endy Chavez can't get it past the pitcher Brad Mills. His bunt attempt results in the first out of the third.
Not a bad idea to try and use your speed to get something started in the third inning. Ron Washington was talking after yesterday's ball game about the Rangers haven't executed their plays, and that's one of the reasons why they've had a little bit of a slump after winning 12 in a row. They had a bunt situation in yesterday's game where they couldn't get him down to advance the runners. He felt that was a big part of the ball game.
Brett Cecil made a good play on that play in the 6th inning. When Endy Chavez, filling in for the injured Nelson Cruz, bunted it up the third baseline, and Cecil got off the mound quickly and forced the lead runner at third. Ian Kinsler. Ball on a strike. I like Brad Mills' delivery. It seems to be tightened up and everything is coming directly toward the hitter. To me, he looks like a much more confident pitcher than the pitcher we saw last year, even in the spring.
Well, he's able to throw 3 pitches over for strikes. He's a left-hander that will play way over towards the first base side of the rubber. Stay on top, and you can see him trying to drive down towards home plate.
Ball has popped out of play.
You better have a good changeup when you come right over the top, because you can see the ball so much easier when you're right over the top like that. But it's conducive to a good changeup, and he has a good one. And it's also good to have a delivery like that when you've got the type of curveball that he has right over the top.
There's another changeup that's found out of play.
But he also stays to the first base side of the pitching rubber, throws a cross body shot. So right-handers don't see the ball that well from where he is throwing from. Watch when he gets the sign and starts into his windup where his left foot goes. Way outside there.
There's no good changeup. He came right back with the changeup and strikes out Ian Kinsler. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Brad Mills.
And that'll help you against the right-handed batters when you deliver pitches like that.
We mentioned that Derek Holland wanted to pitch for Ohio State. He grew up about 45 miles away. Brad Mills grew up in Tucson. He walked on the University of Arizona, didn't have a scholarship, just went out there and made the team. Pitched for the Wildcats for 3 years. His junior season, 2007, he was the second winningest pitcher on the team. Made 14 starts and won 9 games.
He was surrounded by some big leaguers on those teams too.
Pretty impressive. One college team could have 4 pitchers that pitched in the majors. There's a high fly ball to right field, but that's going to hang up. Eric Thames plays it off to the side, and oh, what a play. He lost that ball just before he caught it. He could smile about it now, but he was battling that sun. You could see he was playing it side saddle, trying to get a good angle. Watch how he catches it over his other shoulder. There it is. I got it. Let me take a look at AAA Las Vegas. Brett Laurie continues that red-hot hitting 10-game hit streak. He's hit .452 last night. He had a double and a triple. Kyle Drabeck, I watched his start last night in Reno, and it looked an awful lot like the way he pitched up here. He's kind of all over the place. In 8 starts, his ERA is almost 7. For comparison's sake, Brad Mills, making the start today, had a 3.99 ERA in 20 starts at AAA.
Held batters down too. Just this .260 average against the right-handers. Gave up a home run yesterday, Kyle Drabeck did, didn't he?
To Ryan Longerhans, a left-handed batter. Longerhans was just traded from Seattle to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Reno, the Reno Aces, is the AAA affiliate of Arizona. Yunel Escobar hit one back to the mound. It went off the pitcher. Chris Young from third base. This time he throws a strike.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
We are in the bottom of the third inning on a spectacular Saturday afternoon. Center fielder Colby Rasmus. Ian Kinsler deep at second, and Rasmus is retired. So there are 2 quick outs here in the third inning. And we'll bring to the plate Jose Bautista.
Colby is going to be seeing some left-handed pitching the next few days. Derek Holland today, with C.J. Wilson tomorrow. And then the first game in Tampa, he gets to see Mr. David Price. And John Farrell said he's going to run him out there every day.
Yep. He wants to be an everyday player, and that's what you get in the American League. And get some quality pitching every single night. Jose Bautista, that single was a pop-up that Michael Young lost in the sun back in the first inning. That big breaking slider that gets away from Napoli. Derek Holland shaking his head. He got on top of that breaking ball and buried it down and in. Mike Napoli, his catcher, has done a good job of guiding him through his last several starts. This ball is popped up. Another Sun play. Michael Young looks over at Kinsler and says, "You got it." And Kinsler says, "I got it, no problem." 6 pitches for Derek Holland to end the third. Texas leads 2-0. Has moved into the infield. His presence is felt by everyone on the infield, including the pitcher.
Yeah, everybody gets to hear a little bit about Bautista. You know that he's in the game. He's always thinking. There's always something that he can do to help the ball club, and we've seen it in the last couple of days. He pulls Colby Rasmus over after his first at bat with the team to talk about it. Brett Cecil in last night's game, and then the bunt defense and things like that went on in that game. Always out offering a word of encouragement, always doing something to help his ball club, and then having a little fun on top of it in between the innings.
Nothing wrong with that. And this afternoon, with young Brad Mills making his first start of the season, Jose Bautista over with a little encouragement for the young left-hander. We talked about leaders, and we were trying to figure out how many leaders there are in the baseball now. Bautista certainly qualifies as one of those, but a leader is a guy that plays every day first and foremost, has success. He's got to be an impactful player. Plus, he's free to speak his mind and open to helping everybody on the field. There aren't that many of them around.
And he has the respect of all his teammates. And you can guarantee that the teammates have the respect for Jose Bautista.
Michael Young gets out in front of that pitch, and it's a fly ball to the warning track. Davis is there. One pitch, one out in the fourth. We talk about Derek Jeter, one of my teammates that was the epitome of being a leader, Sabando. He was the captain of the Oakland Athletics, and that was his nickname. Everybody called him captain, and he was the same type of player as Bautista. Derek Jeter of the Yankees will come to the mound and explain the defensive plays in bunt situations, much like Bautista did with Cecil yesterday.
How about another captain, Jason Varitek, with the Boston Red Sox?
Same thing. Quiet, understated, but everybody in that clubhouse knows that that's the boss. He's the guy that comes to people when somebody needs to be talked to. He'll do it in a quiet fashion, much like Jose Bautista. Mike Napoli, the catcher. Who was the leader you played with?
There were a lot of teams that I played with that had good players. I'm trying to think of players who were very boisterous and very assuming, where you would listen to everything they would say. George Brett was a leader, but in his own way. He wasn't the rah-rah type and the push and the, hey, you got to do this type of lead. He did it in a different way, but he had the respect of everybody.
He played hard, and every day he played hard, no matter what the score was or no matter what his situation was, and that was his way of leading.
Dave Winfield, when he was here in Toronto, whenever he said anything, everybody got in line and listened to him. But it wasn't, again, the, hey, let's go.
Yeah, and not a cheerleader type of guy.
Not a cheerleader and a rah-rah type of guy. More of a, I'm going to do this. We as a team are going to do that. And no one's going to take us.
Yeah.
I like when they used to talk about the pitchers we were facing that day. You know, it just kind of gave everybody confidence. Oh, we're going to face Joe Schmo from this team. We're going to get 6 off of him.
Yeah. And Winfield would say something like, I'm getting my 3. What are you guys going to do? And that gave everybody confidence.
And more importantly, he went out and did it.
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson was like that.
Oh, yeah.
I heard the stories from Gene Tennis.
Yeah, Reggie was one of those guys as well, but he and Bando grew up together in the minor leagues with the Oakland Athletics. But there aren't many of them. Frank Robinson, when he was in Baltimore, certainly. Larry Boa with the Phillies. And Robbie Alomar was a little bit like Brett in that he led by the way he played. Brad Mills hit Mitch Moreland. Moreland homered in his first at bat back in the second, but I don't think there was any intent there as Mills was ahead.
Yeah, not with the count 1-2. He's not going to hit him. This was a setup pitch. They wanted to go in with the fastball and then probably drop that breaking ball or changeup away from him. He just missed him.
So Moreland's aboard with 2 outs. Texas leads it 2-0 on Mitch Moreland's 2-run home run, his 13th of the season.
You know who was like Jose Bautista for me growing up watching day in and day out? Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Because he was always in the game, always offering encouragement, always had a positive word to say to everybody on that team. And when Pete moved to third base in 1975, that's where the real value came for him in that team.
Pete was in left field to start that season and moved in after John Vukovic got out to a bad start. There's a hot shot. McDonald can't make a play on it as Moreland's going to stop. Moreland never even thought about going first to third with Rasmus in center field. Colby Rasmus has a good arm. So 2 on now with 2 outs as Torrealba gets his first hit.
Right back through the middle. John McDonald almost comes up with it with the dive. You can see where he is playing. He just misses it. Thought Moreland might have had a shot at going first to third because Rasmus was going away from the play, but you're right, never even thought about it.
So David Murphy had that high chop infield single off John McDonald's glove in the second inning. First pitch strike. Ball on the strike. Brad Mills looks like he really has a definitive idea in his mind what he wants to do here this afternoon. I'm sure he and JP Arencibia sat down and went over the Ranger lineup. Remember, these two ball clubs played last weekend in Arlington.
Lefties or righties, it doesn't matter. What Brad has to do is pitch to his strengths. And he knows his strengths are his breaking ball, his changeup, and pitch. He has to pitch, mix it up, rely on what JP Arencibia puts down.
Missed downstairs. It's a 3-1 count. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Arencibia has the knowledge of watching this Ranger lineup for the last 2 series, just going back to Arlington, so got a pretty good idea of how to attack them. Spinning a throw to second. Ball gets away, but look at McDonald right there to make sure that Moreland can't advance. If Mills throws that on the shortstop side of the bag, they might have a chance.
He had him leaning out towards third base. This has been a cat and mouse between Bautista and Escobar, thinking about putting it on. And the timing is there. You got the open glove, and if it's a good throw, it would have been close.
The base on balls will load the bases. It's all happening with 2 outs. Mills got Michael Young and Mike Napoli quickly in the inning. Then he hit Mitch Moreland with a pitch. Gave up a single to Torrey Alba. Now he walks the left-handed hitting David Murphy. That's the first walk of the game issued by Brad Mills, and after a visit from Jose Bautista, he'll work out of the stretch with the bases loaded. Chris Davis, the third baseman. Upstairs. Davis hit into a double play to end the second inning. Another ground ball. McDonald flips to Escobar, and Mills gets out of it. Rangers strand the bases loaded. Everything happening with 2 outs, but Mills pitches his way out of it. Fourth inning, someone will win a 40-inch Aquos Quattron TV and Blu-ray player. To enter, does it hit a home run with Sharp.ca? Sharp Aquos makes bigger, better. Jose Bautista always involved in the game, no matter who he's talking with. Talking to John McDonald about the way the infield played. He had something to do with that pickoff play at second base. You can bet on that. Adam Lind takes a first pitch strike from Derek Holland. They mentioned how well Holland has pitched to Mike Napoli. Napoli's instructions to Holland: don't shake me off.
I've been around this league. I know how to set up hitters. Listen to what I do and say, and you'll be just fine.
Adam Lind grounded to short his first time up. He was 0 for 4 last night. Texas has cooled him off a bit in this series.
Holland had a clunker a couple of outings ago at Los Angeles where he gave up 7 runs in 5 1/3 innings. But you throw that one out and add up the last 3 starts that he has had, he's given up 1 run. An unearned run to Minnesota. He shut out Oakland, then he shut out Seattle, then he had that clunker against LA, and then he gave up the 1 run in 6 innings versus Minnesota. So he's on a hot streak.
Adam Lind strikes out to start the 4th inning. That'll bring to the plate Edwin Encarnacion, who's on fire right now.
385 since July the 7th. And if you look into the numbers, you were talking about him being on base 4 times in yesterday's game. He's got the 6th base on base percentage since July the 7th. And he has scored the 2nd most runs in the American League at 17.
Yeah, he got off to a slow start. Took him forever to get his first home run. Drives this ball to center field, and the shot has got a good break on it, and Encarnacion's retired.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Derek Holland has figured out the Blue Jays for the middle part of this game. He has thrown strikes, he's pitched ahead, and he starts Eric Thames off with a fastball strike. Holland had back-to-back shutouts earlier in this month. Quite a stretch. There he shut out Oakland and then shut out Seattle.
So what does he get for all his work? Trade rumors.
Broken bat, gloved by Holland. Pretty good play as he came off the mound and made the backhanded. Just 9 pitches here in the 4th inning. Now it's time for a Jays Connected update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Washington Redskins and the Buffalo Bills coming to Rogers Center October 30th. Bills Toronto Series insiders can purchase tickets next Thursday starting at 10 a.m. To become a BTS insider, all you have to do is go to billsintoronto.com and sign up. Tickets will go on sale to the general public on August 25th, and you can purchase your tickets through Ticketmaster. Great NFL action coming to Rogers Center.
There's a big football fan right there sitting on your right.
And he's a big Patriot fan, and it's been rumored that if you go to Butterfield's house for a football weekend, you're not allowed to talk, only during commercials.
If you're lucky, you can talk during commercials. You have to be quiet.
He's a very avid football fan.
Yes.
And loves his Patriots. He's avid about everything. He loves to work and loves to teach his infielders. Andy Chavez lifts a lazy fly ball to left field. Number 9 hitter is retired to start the 5th. Brad Mills, only blemish on his line so far, 2-run home run off the bat of Mitch Moreland. He's held the Rangers to just 4 hits. John Farrell was asked what happens with Brad Mills after this start. And he said, that's like asking your house guests when they arrive, when you leaving?
Well, he said a lot of it depends on his performance. It's like anything in baseball. What have you done for me lately? He says it'll depend on his performance. We will see where he goes after that. But he has had a good year as that ball's fouled off, and he deserves this start.
Yeah, he's earned his start. He made 20 starts in AAA. As you mentioned earlier, this is his 3rd straight year he's been with the ball club at some point or the other. And it was a year ago, just last July 28th, right here in this ballpark, where he too hit the Orioles over 7 shutout innings. But professional sports, it's all about performance. You pitch well, you pitch more.
He had options left at the end of spring training. He was in consideration in spring training for one of the starting spots in the rotation when they battled, but he has had options and got sent down to AAA and didn't say anything, went down there, did his thing, pitched well, and then again he has earned this right to start in this game.
There's a base hit into left field for Ian Kinsler. He's 1 for 3. Blue Jays are putting together a pretty deep minor league roster of pitching, and take a look at the farm report down in Dunedin in the Florida State League. Drew Hutchison has really opened up some eyes.
Started the year in Lansing and just dominated that league, so the Blue Jays are going to challenge him a little bit more. They sent him up to high A ball Dunedin. Now this is a pitcher's league in big ballparks, but he has kept on doing it. 6 starts, 3-1, an ERA of 2. That's just one of 4 or 5 pitchers who have had an outstanding season in the minor leagues.
6 walks and 35 strikeouts for Drew Hutchison. Blue Jays brought Hutchison over to Clearwater in the spring, and he started against the Phillies late in the spring, and I know he's got a big fan down in that bullpen in Pat Henkin. He loves the way he bounds the strike zone and has command of several pitches. 1 out. Omar Quintanilla. But the Blue Jays are restocking the shelves in the minor leagues. Alex Anthopoulos, the Vice President of Baseball Operations and GM, is a guy that understands you have to go by numbers, and the quality and the quantity of good, talented players in your system will only make you better.
They've done a good job, I think, over the last couple of years of recognizing the type of player that they want. Long arm, tall pitchers. You go up and down the draft the last couple of years, just the pitchers. I don't believe I've seen too many of them under 6'3".
Now that's an industry-wide phenomenon now. Everybody recognizes that the impact players, and that's something Brad Mills has had to deal with his whole life, even going back to college. He couldn't get a college scholarship. He walked on to the University of Arizona largely because of his size. Just didn't have that 6'3", 6'4" body where coaches in college and professional scouts are looking at.
How about scouts telling me this year that they're not even looking at high school pitchers unless they hit 90? 90 miles an hour in high school, back in the day, that was rare.
Yeah. And the problem you have with that, I mean, it's tough to make a general statement like that because who knows if you're ever going to come across a Mark Buehrle.
Sure. There are tons of pitchers like that who have had very successful careers.
Yeah, Mark Buehrle didn't grow till after high school, and he never threw hard. Larry Bowa is one of the examples I always talk about. He never played high school baseball because he was cut from the team too little.
You know, the only problem with scouts, you can't look inside a player and see what type of heart or mind they have. You can gather information and you can look at all the variables, the timings and the measurables, but you can't look inside what they have.
And that's why Andrew Tinish and his scouts get to know the player, get to know the families, look at the background, see where they're coming from. 3-1, 1 out. Pop down the left side, and that'll reach the seats. But you have to know the player. I mean, nowadays you're thinking about $1 million signing bonuses. Go over slot, you're going to pay maybe $2 million, and you better be right. But one thing that has been consistent in Alex Anthopoulos' discussions about players, character. Is he a good person? It's almost secondary. I mean, you assume they can all play. But the separator for the Blue Jays is character and makeup. 3-2, 1 out. There goes Kinsler. Ball is bounced foul. Quintanilla putting up quite a fight here in the 5th inning. Quintanilla came up with the Colorado Rockies. Originally, he was signed by Oakland out of the University of Texas. Grew up in El Paso, Texas. Played in that great collegiate program with the Longhorns down in Austin. Another full count pitch. There goes Kinsler. Ball is hit toward McDonald. He looks at second, but Kinsler, because he got the running start, had no play there at second base. Kinsler moves up.
Not a bad idea to start that runner, stay out of the double play, and get Michael Young to the plate with a runner in scoring position. Just start the runner. If it's a strike, go ahead and take a whack at it. And they stay out of the double play just because Kinsler took off on a pitch.
Well, Ron Washington knows that Quintanilla more often than not is going to put the ball in play, and he did on the ground. So by moving the runner, he stayed out of a double play. Michael Young, anytime you can get him to play with a runner in scoring position, you're in a good situation.
That's managing your lineup and managing your ball club, knowing who's coming up, where you want to get your runners on, and who you want them on for.
First pitch changeup had Michael Young out in front. Doesn't seem to be any panic or urgency in Brad Mills' approach. Kind of thinking his way through this lineup.
Calm and confident. We talked about Derek Holland being calm and confident. Sure looks like Brad Mills is doing the same thing.
Up and away. Ball on the strike. 2-0. The Rangers lead it. Brad Mills gave up a 2-run home run in the second inning. Hayden Kinsler at second base. He singled to left field. And breaking ball slipped out of Mills' hand and was upstairs. Here's where Young really becomes dangerous, when he has the count in his favor.
And I think Mills has a dilemma here. Does he go ahead and attack Michael Young, or think about the next batter? That's Mike Napoli, who is on deck, who's already reached him for a single this afternoon. You have first base open.
Hop back out of play. Yeah, I agree with you. That's the real question here for Mills. Just how aggressive do you want to be? And he's going to talk about it with Aaron Sebia. Well, that's a pretty heady move right there of a young pitcher. That's a 2-2 count with 2 outs and already down by 2. He called his catcher out. Let's talk about this.
And for good measure, here comes John McDonald to join the party also. So he has the signs of what they want to do. They got Michael Young last time on a changeup that was away to hit a soft fly ball to left field.
Michael Young is second in the American League batting with runners in scoring position. He's hit .388. Second only to Victor Martinez of the Tigers. 2-2, 2 outs. Kinsler with second. Curveball got it. Boy, what a good job by Brad Mills. He had a tough hitter at the plate in Michael Young. He got the 2-2, called his catcher out. Let's use this curveball, and he strikes out Michael Young. Zone, our BlueJays.com contest winners, and they have come prepared. Man in the blue shirt has a hockey goalie glove on, and he is ready for those hot shots into the big comfy chair zone. That's a big glove. I could have used one of those.
Me too. I could have used it also.
Rajai Davis goes after that fastball away. Davis reached on a walk back in the second. 2-0 ball game. A couple of left-handers hooking up. Only runs came on a home run off the bat of Mitch Moreland.
He's got late life to his fastball. Right at the end, it moves just a little bit off the hitting plane.
Changeup, 85, but effective. Upstairs, first out of the fifth, the strikeout of Davis.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
John McDonald will stand in against Derek Holland. Holland has 3 shutouts. That's tied for the lead in the American League. He is tied with Jason Vargas of Seattle and James Shields of Tampa Bay.
Power pitcher too. That's what I like about him. He's young, big strong legs. He's got a good arm. power plus.
Broad shoulders, big hands too. He's got huge hands where he just dwarfs that baseball in his hands.
A couple of years ago when he first came up, I was watching some of his starts on television, and they were talking about Holland. When he gets bigger, when he learns to pitch, you can see that ball in his hand. It just disappears with those strong hands.
John McDonald, good play by Quintanilla. He takes it just before it hit the turf, and there are quickly 2 outs.
2-strike breaking ball. Shortstop pulls over just a little bit, and he's right in the way of that line drive to snare it before it hits the turf. Back to Holland. When he was younger, he just didn't have an idea of what he was going to do. And Tom Grieve, who was doing the game, said when he gets bigger and he gets older and he understands pitching, he's going to be something special. And we're starting to see that now.
He has 9 wins. Matt Harrison has 9 wins. The Rangers, the only starting staff in the big leagues with 5 pitchers with 9 or more wins. Pretty impressive rotation. Certainly has a lot to do with why the Rangers are leading the AL West.
60 and 47, and their starters have been outstanding.
JP Arancibia tried to hold up but couldn't. He goes too far on the high fastball. 2 strikeouts in the 5th for Derek Holland. He leads 2-0. Look at the starting pitching comparison. Holland and Mills, a couple of young left-handers.
With different styles. Brad Mills has done it with finesse and pitching and using all of his pitches. Derek Holland, good hard fastball, 95, 96, a sharp breaking ball. He's only given up 2 hits, and one of those hits was the pop-up that Michael Young lost in the sun in the first inning. He has been dominant through 5, and Brad Mills has matched him.
Blue Jays, of course, have the ability to come back and get a heck of an offensive lineup, man. Now Brad Mills just has to continue to put zeros up on the board. The only blemish came in the 2nd inning. Mike Napoli, he has one of the 5 Ranger hits. He singled ahead of Mitch Moreland when Moreland homered. That was back in the 2nd. Everybody knew that Napoli could hit. And when he was brought to Texas, it was thought that he was going to be the DH. Maybe back up at first base a little bit, but he's performed much better than anticipated behind the plate.
Again, his ERA, his catcher's ERA of 2.4, the best on this team.
Well, that's a good changeup in a great spot down and away.
Napoli has hit 20 home runs the last 3 seasons. Will probably make it 4 this year. He's sitting on 14. Career high last year for Anaheim. He hit 26 home runs.
Another good changeup. Mills really sells that changeup with a good delivery and terrific arm speed.
High leg kick, hides the ball because he's throwing on the first base side of the pitching rubber. Comes right over the top. He's got good arm speed. The dead fish, we used to call him.
2-2. Hopped up. Get back behind the Blue Jays dugout. Good crowd on hand here this Saturday afternoon. 22,560. Big crowd expected tomorrow. Will be Robbie Alomar Hall of Fame Day here at Rogers Center. If you're not planning on coming down, make sure you get tickets and come aboard. It should be a great ceremony and a good celebration of an outstanding Hall of Fame career. Just missed the outside corner. Popped up. Left fielder Rajay Davis. Napoli's retired, one out. Fans, test your knowledge and win additional Sharp prizes by visiting the new Hit a Home Run with Sharp Facebook page. Sharp gives you opportunities to answer questions, tell us your knowledge, and you can come up with some beautiful prizes. So Mitch Moreland, he's been the entire offense of this ball game. One swing of the bat, a 2-run home run back into the second. That's been the only scoring. 13th homer of the season for Mitch Moreland. Change up to a left-handed hitter, but it misses low. I think that's really valuable for Brad Mills to be able to throw that changeup, and why wouldn't you? It's his best pitch. But a lot of lefties and even right-handers won't throw to the same side hitter.
All the Blue Jay pitchers are not afraid to throw their changeup. When you say same side hitter, left-hander to a left-hander, or a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter, and the theory has always been in baseball, you can't throw a changeup because it's the easiest pitch for them to recognize and the easiest pitch for a left-hander to hit out of the ballpark. But the Blue Jays have crossed that up for the last couple of years. Not afraid to throw it, not afraid to double up on it either.
There's a fastball down and away.
Why would you take one pitch out of your arsenal just on the thought that it might get hit hard?
Now, the old premise was that left-handed hitters were pull hitters. That ball is pulled but well fouled. And a changeup traditionally from a left-handed pitcher will run back inside to left-handed hitters. And if you're thinking about pulling, that ball's coming right into your power. But I don't think there's any way to characterize all left-handed hitters now as pull hitters. I think the game has changed dramatically. And that used to be the old saying. Pitchers would tell you, you can have the inside half of the plate. I'm taking the outside half. What a good job by Brad Mills. He elevates the fastball and picks up the strikeout.
And he came back to get it. Fell behind 3-0. Strike one, strike two is a foul ball. And here's a challenge fastball right at the top of the strike zone for his fourth punch out of the afternoon.
That reminded me an awful lot of Scott McGregor right there. You and I both faced Scott McGregor. Mike Flanagan, same type of pitcher. You anticipate off speed, and then they throw you that letter high fastball, and you go, man, I'm going to kill this pitch. Strikeout.
And yeah, what do you end up doing? Yeah, walking back to the dugout or fouling the ball straight back. Mike Napoli had a good at bat in last night's game on a high fastball. He kept the bat up there. And he swung through that pitch and kept it in the air.
Hit a home run in the ninth off John Roush. That led off the ninth inning, made it a 3-2 game, but Roush was able to close it out and pick up his ninth save. Ball and a strike to your Victoriaba. He hasn't been able to solve that Brad Mills changeup.
So what's he thinking right now in his mind? Is he going to throw me another changeup? Is he going to try the hook? Maybe he'll try that letter high fastball like he just threw by Moreland.
1-2, 2 outs. Bounce the breaking ball. If I see a hitter like Torrealba take 2 swings as he did on those changeups, I'm not throwing him a fastball because he is thinking fastball. That's why he's so far out in front. One more changeup just for good measure. Hit it on the ground. Escobar, plenty of time to get Torrealba. Another good inning for Brad Mills. A 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Now he needs some help from his hitters. Escobar, Rasmus Bautista when we come back. We'll bring you courtside for great tennis coverage live from Montreal and Toronto. The Rogers Cup presented by National Bank, August 8th through the 12th. Great tennis action from 2 beautiful venues, and Rogers Sportsnet will be there for all the action. It is a beautiful day here at Rogers Center. The only thing that's missing is the score. Texas up 2-0. The top of the order set to take on Derek Holland. 3rd time through the order. Holland has held the Blue Jays to just 2 hits. First pitch, breaking ball. That's a good curveball to start out the at-bat. This is what he has done through the order for the season.
Well, his stuff plays late into a ball game because he has power. First time through 246, it jumps up to 293, and then 3rd time 280. Respectable. 3rd time through.
Bouncing ball. Kinsler behind second, and he's going to take a hit away. Now look at Escobar say he came off the bag, and I'm not sure. Oh, he threw him out of the game. That was awfully quick by Marvin Hudson. But Escobar had a good look at the foot of Michael Young, and it looked like Young may have come off the bag. But Escobar's been thrown out of this game.
And very quickly, too. I don't know what he said to Marvin Hudson, but it was enough to get him tossed from this ball game. I think Escobar had a better look at it than Marvin Hudson, just because he was on the one side and Hudson was on the other side of the bag. Kinsler once again takes a hit away from a batter of the Blue Jays by going up the middle. You can see where he is positioned. Makes the play. This is Michael Young's 26th game at first base, his start. And you can see from where the first base umpire is, he's got to get a good look, and it looks from that angle like he was off the bag.
You see Escobar pointing at the foot before he got to first base. Thought he lost contact with the bag. Kobe Rasmus is batting. Here's another look. Look at Michael Young's foot. Looked like it may have been just off the bag as he caught that ball. Kobe Rasmus making a bid for his first hit. Rasmus is 0 for 10 to start his Blue Jay career. Don't get overly alarmed by that. Some great Blue Jay hitters have had slow starts to their Blue Jay career. Jose Bautista himself went 0 for 14 to start his Blue Jay career. Darren Fletcher 0 for 18 back in '98 before he got his first hit. Kelly Gruber way back in '84 went 0 for 14 to start.
He turned out okay.
This ball is popped up. He'll have to wait another at bat. David Murphy is there, and Rasmus is retired. 2 outs here in the 6th.
You know, I want to go back to that play one more time. What made it tough for the umpire is where Michael Young had to step for that ball. He stepped across towards the umpire, and his whole body was blocking him. Umpires are taught to get to the inside part of the bag, and you can get a better view. But when the first baseman, that's good when the first baseman steps out towards the middle of the diamond.
Jose Bautista singles on the first pitch. He got out in front of that Holland fastball. Bautista has a couple of hits this afternoon.
They can challenge him when he's not the tying run to the plate late in the ball game. First pitch fastball ripped into left field for his second hit.
Blue Jays just one swing of the bat away from tying up this game. 2-0, bottom of the 6th inning. Lind has hit well against Holland in the past. 4 for 8 coming into this game, including a home run. Two outs. Left-hander Derek Holland in great shape with his pitch count. Boy, he's been efficient. Over the last 3 innings, he has really minimized the number of pitches. They're playing in the outfield opposite against Lind. Snap throw to first, and Bautista's back in. Derek Holland threw 6 pitches in the 3rd, 9 pitches in the 4th, and just 10 in the 5th. That last pitch, just his 70th pitch of the game.
Challenging the Blue Jays here tonight. Outfield playing him away. They don't think he's going to get around on a fastball.
Hits it right off the end of the bat and taps it to Holland. He makes a throw to first base, and the Blue Jays can't get to Derek Holland. He's held them to no runs on 3 hits. nation's most talented performers. Auditions are being held in Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. Canada'sGotTalent.com has all the date and location information. We're looking for acts of all ages. Sign up, show up for Canada's Got Talent. Aaron Hill comes into the ball game defensively after Yunel Escobar was ejected by first base umpire Marvin Hudson. John McDonald, who started at second, moves across the bag to shortstop. Seventh inning. 7, 8, 9 in the Rangers lineup. Murphy, Davis, and Chavez to face Brad Mills. Jesse Litch, the right-hander, loosening up in the bullpen. A little different adjustment for him as far as how he prepares to come into a ball game. 0-2. Bouncing ball. McDonald behind second, quickly on the line, right on the money. Looked like he had a little trouble grabbing that baseball once he made the transfer, but he still had balance enough to get a lot on the throw.
But he kept his feet moving, and that helps him. Ball right back through the middle for Murphy. He knows he's got to hustle because Murphy can run. Very quickly keeps his feet shuffling and grabs that baseball, makes the play right there.
That little extra shuffle allowed him to roll the baseball in his hand and get a good grip, and made a good throw to first. 6 straight retired by Brad Mills. Chris Davis out in front of that pitch. The Rangers are missing 2 key bats in their lineup. Adrian Beltre, the third baseman, is on the disabled list with a hamstring injury, and Nelson Cruz is listed as day-to-day, still on the active roster.
Josh Hamilton with the day off, with the left-hander out on the mound. Elvis Andrus with the day off at shortstop for the Rangers.
Beltre is the team leader in RBIs with 76. Nelson Cruz has 69. And Josh Hamilton out of the lineup as well. He has 58 ribbies. That's a lot of production out of the lineup.
In speed.
One and 2 to Davis. Bounced way in front of home plate.
Sooner or later, the season is just so long. You have to use everybody on your team. You just can't keep running the same players out there day in and day out, with the travel, with the schedules, with the intensity of the ball games. You have to use everybody at one time on your roster. The good managers have an idea how to do that.
That ball is ripped to right field. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Hits off the top of the fence. Chris Davis is headed for second, and he'll stop there with a 1-out double. That's the 6th hit of the afternoon off of Brad Mills.
He had retired 6 in a row before this. Pitched up in the strike zone, and Davis doesn't miss it. Base hit into right field. 3rd double this season.
So with Davis at second base, Indy Chavez, the center fielder, will stand in. John Farrell has Jesse Litch throwing in the Blue Jays bullpen. Looks like Aaron Seavey got crossed up on that curveball. Able to make a catch on it, and it's been a while since there's been a base runner at second, and I think Mills crossed him up. Aaron Seavey came out of the crouch as if he were expecting a fastball, and then caught the curveball.
Remember the last time they had a runner at second base? That was back in the 5th inning with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Mills called his catcher out there, and they threw the breaking ball. Aaron Seavey watching to make sure Chavez doesn't
peek in at the signs. McDonald break behind the bag and puts the tag on Davis. Mills pretty good at that spin move and pickoff throw to second. Had one earlier with Mitch Moreland at second base, but threw it to the first base side of the bag.
It's a timing play between the shortstop and the pitcher. Brad Mills hasn't been here all season long, so that's what's impressive. That he's been able to have timing with his middle infielders on that pickoff attempt at second.
This might be the last batter for Brad Mills, with Ian Kinsler, a right-handed hitter, on deck. It's a 2-0 ball game. Two and one to Endy Chavez. Kinsler singled his last time up. John Farrell, looking at the situation, he is down by 2 here in the 7th. Fly ball into center. Rasmus back, makes the catch, tagging and going toward third is Chris Davis. Here's the throw to third base from deep center field, right on the money from Rasmus. Davis moves up.
And Jose Bautista did a good thing trying to decoy that runner like there was no play at the bag. Ball hit plenty deep into center field. Rasmus gets back into the shadows in center field, and from his back foot throws a strike. And watch Bautista just sitting there. Dave Anderson trying to tell his runner to get down, sliding, that he knew that that throw was coming in.
John Farrell has come out of the dugout, but he hasn't made any signs yet. He's going to go out here and check on Mills and see how he's doing. Give him the option. They have a left-handed batter on deck in Omar Quintanilla. So the skipper just wanted to check with his left-hander, see how he's holding up. He's thrown over 100 pitches. And before he leaves, he's given J.P. Arancibia some instructions.
Looks like they're going to put him on. Looked like J.P. Arancibia told the home plate umpire that they're going to walk Kinsler and face the left-hander, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Now this is where Ron Washington might use Nelson Cruz. He was reportedly available to pinch hit, but Washington was going to be conservative with him. Maybe because he has a 2-0 lead and is not down by 2-0. He will continue to keep Cruz on the bench. 2 outs, and they've put Kinsler on. Let's quickly check in with Jamie Campbell. Chris Tillman just coming back from the minor leagues to make that start, and the Orioles need some pitching just to pitch in the doubleheader. Doubleheader today, another day game tomorrow. Tough schedule for the Yankees and Orioles. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Omar Quintanilla, the shortstop. First pitch, strike.
He has done that a lot this afternoon. Strike 1 to the Ranger batters. 4 strikeouts this afternoon, a couple of walks, 1 intentionally. Done a good job.
Done a very good job. Breaking ball, he's ahead of Quintanilla. 0-2. One thing about Brad Mills is he has looked comfortable and confident all afternoon. He's pitching here in the 7th with 2 outs. His first start of the season in the big leagues.
Not wowed by the situation. Oh,
2, 2 outs. upstairs, and Quintanilla lays off. Texas, the second best hitting club in the American League, behind only the Boston Red Sox. And you don't get any points for pitching a good ball game. You only get points for winning. But Brad Mills has certainly done a good job of keeping his club in this ball game. Punctuating a great outing here this afternoon with a strikeout. He strands a pair. Blue Jays are down by 2. Brad Mills has done a good job. Start of the season did a terrific job holding the Texas Rangers to just 2 runs on 6 hits through 7 innings.
It ties his career high in innings pitched in a game, just like the line on his first major league win back in July of last season when he threw 7 scoreless innings against Baltimore.
And when Encarnacion pops it up, Ian Kinsler near the foul line is there and makes the catch. 1 down.
You know, anytime you can get 7 innings out of your starter, and they're very effective innings for Mills, you've done your job. Just 2 runs given up in 7 innings against the Rangers.
Now, Brett Cecil and Mills spent a lot of time together down in AAA Las Vegas this year after Cecil was sent back to the minors. But Brad Mills can be proud of the effort he put together. Right now, he'd just love to have his teammates come up with a couple of runs. Eric Thames, 0 for 2.
Need to figure out Derek Holland right now. Fastball's been good.
Breaking ball popped up behind home plate. Napoli fighting the sun, stays with it. 2 outs.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful afternoon here at Rogers Center. 22,000 fans on hand, the second game of a 3-game series. Remember, tomorrow afternoon, Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame Day. First 20,000 fans coming to Rogers Center will receive a Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame bobblehead. Rajai Davis Ground ball to short. Quintanilla comes after it, throws on the run, and Holland has another very quick inning. 7 innings of work for Holland. It took him 5 pitches. He's only thrown 76 in the game. Jesse Litch will make his debut as a reliever. From the initial call to the Hall of Fame to his hometown in Puerto Rico, Roberto Alomar opens up about his life in a revealing documentary. Watch the journey to Cooperstown tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, right here on Rogers Sportsnet. Big day for the Alomar family. So many family and friends in town for the great celebration to take place tomorrow before the start of the ball game. Jesse Litch will come on to start the 8th inning. Jesse Litch making his first appearance as a reliever since coming back from the minor leagues.
Just recalled yesterday from Las Vegas. He made 6 starts down in AAA, and we were talking to him today about it. He said his arm feels fine. Forget about the numbers. They were not very good down in AAA. He was just trying to get his arm back into shape. Says he feels good throwing out of the bullpen. He was telling us today that his cut fastball in AAA was moving everywhere. So the arm strength is back.
Just his 2nd career relief appearance. Jesse Litch throws it down and away. It's 2-0. Michael Young 0 for 3. What a strikeout last time up. Young had a runner in scoring position at second base, and Brad Mills struck him out with a good curveball. This one's right off the end of the bat. I was impressed with Brad Mills today. From the first pitch of the ball game to the last, he pounded the strike zone, pitched ahead, used all of his pitches, and threw all of his pitches for strikes.
Worked well with J. Pierre and Sebia, and when he got into trouble, there was no panic. Had some runners on base. He pitched out of that. Looked like a big leaguer.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Michael Young. As we mentioned, Jesse Litch making just his 2nd appearance out of the bullpen. Buries that ball in the dirt. Blue Jays won the opener of this series 3-2 in last night's game behind Brett Cecil. Cecil, a strong 7-inning performance. He scattered 7 hits over those 7 innings. John Farrell has to be pleased with the way Cecil has pitched since he's rejoined this ball club, and his last 2 games have been exceptional. Michael Young strikes out.
Fools him with a 3-2 breaking ball. Got a natural cut fastball, and then that overhand curveball gets a very dangerous hitter, Michael Young. No stride as he tries to stay back, but he just can't on that off-speed pitch.
Young is 0 for 4 this afternoon. He had 3 hits in last night's game. Mike Napoli goes after the first pitch. Napoli was with the Blue Jays after coming to Toronto in the Vernon Wells deal, along with Juan Rivera.
He was with the Blue Jays a little bit longer, just a little bit longer than Edwin Jackson was a Blue Jay.
Yeah, the ink didn't dry on the Jackson transaction, and he was dispatched to St. Louis. Fly ball center field. Colby Erasmus on the run, looks up, and this ball is gone. Mike Napoli with his second home run in the series. His 15th home run of the season, and has expanded the Ranger lead to 3-0.
Homered in the 9th inning last night. Singled his first time up here this afternoon, and then sends one deep to center field here in the 8th inning. Same pitch that he got Michael Young. Jesse Litch got Michael Young with the previous hitter. That one hangs up just a little bit higher, and Napoli with that great strength.
Doesn't take a veteran hitter long to pick up on a pattern, and he felt like he was going to get that breaking ball from Jesse Litch.
That's what happens when you pay attention when you're on deck. You saw what the pattern was to Michael Young, and he was waiting for that breaking ball.
Mitch Moreland homered, got hit by a pitch and struck out. Playing in right field here this afternoon. There's a good breaking ball. Late break and a lot of depth on that breaking ball, and it strikes out Mitch Moreland.
The home run was up just a little bit, stayed in the strike. So this is a good 2-strike pitch there. Down, bury it. Expand that strike zone, get him to swing at it.
Torrealba single to center. He's 1 for 3. First pitch strike. One and one.
Litch was originally placed on the disabled list at the end of May with some right shoulder impingement problems. Went on the disabled list, came off the DL, and then was optioned to AAA. Through the games down there, through his rehab, and then through his being optioned down there, and he's proved that he's going to come up here just a little bit different role than the last time we saw him.
Now, since the Blue Jays had traded Jason Frazier and Fabio Dotel, they have a need for a right-handed arm down in their pen. Breaking ball catches the inside corner. Torrealba strikes out again. John McDonald will start things off out in the 8th inning. JP Arencibia, and then Aaron Hill, who's into the game. Now let's check in with Jamie Campbell. sadly mistaken. Take a look at this rotation. They are 20 games over 500 for the season.
48 wins come from that starting rotation. In Major League Baseball, only the Philadelphia Phillies have more wins from their starters. The ERA, an excellent third in the American League. They lead in strikeouts. Complete games, they've thrown 8 complete games from their starters.
It's a looping ball down the right side. It's Moreland over into foul territory. Makes the catch. John McDonald is retired to start the 8th. Derek Holland trying to become the 4th 10-game winner for the Texas Rangers. Kobe Lewis is 10-8. Alexei Ogando is 10-5, and C.J. Wilson will start tomorrow is 10-4.
And the only team in baseball that could say that they have 4 starters with double digits in wins. He is also looking for, and his pitch count certainly says that he has a chance to do that.
Deep in hole, and Quintanilla is not going to make the play. Aaron Sebia is aboard with an infield hit. That ball was hit right into the 5-6 hole on the left side, and Aaron Sebia is aboard.
Maybe he had enough time to backhand it and set his feet with Aaron Sebia having to recoil out of that right-handed batter's box. Catch it, plant, and have a strong and more accurate throw over to first base. But it takes off on him. It'll go as an infield single for J.P. Aaron Sebia.
Aaron Hill will bat for the first time this afternoon. He came on defensively in the 7th after Yunel Escobar was ejected by the first base umpire. Boy, that third run was a huge run. The solo home run by Mike Napoli to expand the Rangers' lead to 3-0. Game with 1 out in the 8th.
If one guy gets on and the tying run comes to the plate, now you got to get a couple on. Finishing that thought on Derek Holland with his pitch count now just at 81 pitching into the 8th inning. He is looking for his 3rd shutout of the month. Shutout Oakland, Seattle, now 7 1/3 here against Toronto.
Right back to Holland. Takes his time, throws it to Quintanilla back to first. Derek Holland's pitching like a 10-year veteran. Took his time on that comebacker. Another low pitch inning, just 7 pitches, and Holland is out of the 8th. Bruce Goodbye waiting another first only from Rogers.
The only mistake by Brad Mills this afternoon was his pitch to Mitch Moreland. He hits it into the seats in right field for a 2-run home run. The only runs given up by Mills this afternoon. Moreland with his 13th home run got the Rangers off to a good start here in the 2nd inning.
Mitch Moreland with his home run, his 13th of the season, and Trevor Miller will make his season debut with the Blue Jays. Made it 39 times into the game for the Cardinals before he was dealt here. You can see he didn't pitch much. Was 15 2/3, and he had really not gotten much work lately with St. Louis.
He is the definition of a left-handed specialist. 39 games, 15 2/3 innings. Former Blue Jay Trevor Miller, 10 walks and 9 strikeouts. Miller pitched for Toronto back in 2003 when he got into 79 games for the Blue Jays. Spent some time with Tampa, Houston, St. Louis. He was also a teammate of his manager, John Farrell, in AAA when they were together in Toledo way back when.
Trevor Miller now 38 years old, and he'll work to the bottom third of the Rangers order, trying to keep it a 3-run deficit. Murphy, Davis, and Chavez, 3 left-handed batters for Trevor Miller. Two balls and no strikes. Fouled out of play. David Murphy came to the Texas organization from the Boston Red Sox. Base hit over the mound into center field. The leadoff single for the Rangers left fielder.
Third time that Murphy has been on base this afternoon. Breaking ball, he keeps the front shoulder in nicely. Stays on that breaking ball from Miller. See if Ron Washington plays for one more run here. He's already up 3-0. Davis has had his problems versus left-handers. He only had 4 hits all season long versus left-handed pitching.
Not showing. Bunn takes a breaking ball for a strike. Davis isn't the type of player that Ron Washington would utilize a lot to sacrifice, especially given a 3-run lead here in the ninth. Waves at that breaking ball outside. Dave Anderson going through the signs for his skipper. Chris Davis, we mentioned his 24 home runs in AAA in just 48 games. It's a piece of that breaking ball. I think the difference is down in the minor leagues, you can face a team for 4 games. You might see a good pitcher once in the 4 games. I mean, there just aren't that many prospects. Not going to see a tough pitcher every night. Certainly aren't going to see a pitcher with the polish and experience of a guy like Trevor Miller.
You know what else you're not going to see in the minor leagues is a 8th inning setup guy and a big league closer.
Yeah.
Late in the game. If they were good, they'd be in the big leagues.
Way outside, 2-2. And AAA is a real interesting study in baseball. They'll have a lot of guys that are 4A players, a lot of guys that have had a cup of coffee in the big leagues and trying to work their way back. Ball is popped out of play. Most oftentimes, most of the real legitimate prospects are at AA, where you just load up those guys, and generally organizations will stick those prospects together and take them from one class to the next class to the next class, hoping that they grow together and really become a unit that you can take to the big leagues.
And that's not to say that you don't have legitimate, young, bright prospects in AAA. You just don't have a whole team full of them.
Right. You might have 1 or 2 prospects and then a whole bunch of journeyman players and starters to fill out your rotation.
And you'll have players who are angry, who feel like they should be in the big leagues, and they're down in AAA. So that's a tough spot sometimes for young players.
Davis strikes out. Still can't solve the left-handed offerings of Trevor Miller.
And that's why I thought maybe he would try and bunt just to add on a run, knowing that Davis has had trouble versus lefties. Try and stay out of the double play and just get an add-on run. Works out to the Blue Jays' advantage as he strikes out.
Trevor Miller will have another left-handed bat step in against him. It'll be Andy Chavez, the center fielder. Chavez is 0 for 3 this afternoon. Chavez has been dealing with knee problems the last couple of seasons. He really hasn't had a full season since 2008 when he was with the Mets. He had microfracture surgery, trying to get his knees back to 100%. Many of you remember that great catch he made in the League Championship Series against the Cardinals. He was with the Mets and slammed up against the wall to take a home run away from Scott Rowland.
That was one of the best catches I've ever seen in my life. Not just the athleticism that he displayed there, but when it happened in the game, in the championship series. I thought the Mets were going to win then when he made that catch in left field, taking away a home run.
There goes the runner. Throw to second base in plenty of time. And J.P. Arancibia throws out David Murphy. Boy, that was a good throw. Very patient from Arancibia. McDonald came into the base path and took the throw and tagged Murphy.
I think somebody missed a sign. It looked like the Rangers were going to play hit and run as Murphy looks in. So he doesn't get the great jump that you see when someone's trying to steal. But J.P. Arancibia took his time, made a good throw, and McDonald finishes off with a good tag at second. Here's the play around the bag. McDonald gets in and then gets out before Murphy can collide with him.
Good throw by Arancibia, right on the money. Full count, 2 outs, MD Chavez. Pops it up. Arancibia over near the Blue Jays dugout and be on the roof. Miller swiped at it and missed it, and it trickles into shallow center field. Chavez has the second hit of the inning. His first of the afternoon. Looked like it might have been a changeup off the bat of Chavez, and quickly out of the dugout, John Farrell has already made the call to the bullpen.
Miller's going to come in and face 3 batters. A single, a caught stealing, a strikeout, and then another single. So John Farrell wants the matchup. The right-hander versus the right-hander Kinsler. Sean Camp into the game. Blue Jays down by 3.
ninth inning, trying to keep it a 3-run ball game.
Doug Farrell has given Sean Kemp 4 days off to get him back to where he was. 44 games now. His last few times out, he has seen his ERA rise now at 5.24, which is the highest at any point this season. Sean Kemp, when he has the proper rest, has good light to his fastball and a good slider. Now we're going to have to face Ian Kinsler, who's been on a couple of base.
First pitch swinging, popped up to right field. Thames makes the catch. Kemp needs just one pitch to close out the top of the ninth. The Blue Jays will go to the ninth, trailing by 3. Colby Rasmus, Jose Bautista, Adam Lind when we come back. Show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. It'll be Cubs and Cardinals on Sportsnet East in Ontario. The Angels and Tigers on Sportsnet West and Pacific. Rodrigo Lopez going to the mound for the Cubs. Kyle Loesch for the Cardinals. Mitch Moreland moves in from right field to take over defensively at first base. Josh Hamilton comes off the bench and moves into left field to play D here in the ninth, and the left fielder moves to right, David Murphy. Derek Holland working on a shutout. Colby Rasmus takes the first pitch strike. Holland is tied for the lead in shutouts with 3. Cut on and missed. Rasmus in a hole, 0-2. Holland is tied with Jason Vargas and James Shields for the American League lead with 3 shutouts. Cliff Lee is the major league leader. Lee of the Phillies has 4. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outside, 2-2. Blue Jays need some base runners. Meat of the order: Rasmus, Bautista, and Lind. Rasmus fights it off. Holland still has plenty in his tank. That last pitch, 96 miles an hour.
There are the numbers for Holland. Just 1 walk. That was to Rajai Davis in the 2nd inning. 4 strikeouts. He's used his fastball effectively to get outs, not necessarily strikeouts, to get outs and then to set up his breaking ball.
Bouncing ball to first. Moreland, a very good defender, goes to the bag and meets Rasmus. Rasmus 0 for 4 this afternoon.
You mentioned the back-to-back shutouts earlier this month. He did it against Oakland. He did it against Seattle. He joins Cliff Lee as the only big league pitchers with back-to-back shutouts in the past 2 seasons. And the first AL pitcher with consecutive shutouts since Roy Halladay. Did it for the Blue Jays back in 2009. been a good month for him.
Jose Bautista takes the first pitch breaking ball. The other shutout for Derek Holland came at Cleveland against the Indians back on the 4th of June. A 5-hitter.
This season, Derek Holland is 9-4 coming into this contest. He's given up 1 run all season long in the 9th inning. You think that's seeing the finish line?
It's unusual in this day and age to have pitchers that stand on a mound and pitch complete games, let alone shutouts. This is what Nolan Ryan referred to when he challenged his starters to pitch deeper into a game. Get yourself in good shape, get the mindset that you're going to pitch the entire game. The Rangers have 8 complete games on their staff, and Napoli's going to go out and talk to his young left-hander.
What did he tell him when he started catching him?
Just listen to me. Don't shake your head.
Good things certainly have happened in those other shutouts that he has had this year. He didn't give up an extra base hit in any of those shutouts either.
Seattle Mariners lead the American League with 9 complete games. Strike 3 call. Bautista called out on strikes.
Well, whatever he said to him worked. It looked like a changeup because it was just 85 miles an hour down at the bottom of the strike zone. Bautista cannot pull the trigger. Home plate umpire Brian Runge can and punches him out.
2 outs. Blue Jays down to their final out. Then fights it off.
We were talking yesterday about trade rumors and Heath Bell coming here, Andrew Bailey. The name that those teams keep asking for is Derek Holland. Do you trade him?
Nope.
I don't either.
24-year-old left-hander. Left-handers traditionally get better as they get closer to 30. Not a chance.
And it's still blowing 96 in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
It'd be tough to give up a young player like that to get a older reliever.
Guy that's already had Tommy John surgery. 0-2, 2 outs. Off the glove. Quintanilla behind second, and Derek Holland has pitched his 4th shutout of the season. He and Mike Napoli have become a pretty good tandem. He now has tied Cliff Lee for the major league lead in shutouts. His 3rd shutout of the month of July.
And what were we talking about when Cliff Lee came over here? He put into the mindset of these young left-handed pitchers of the Texas Rangers, strike one. Attack the strike zone and good things will happen. And we have certainly seen that from Derek Holland, the change from last year to this year.
Holland becomes the 4th Ranger pitcher to have 10 wins, and they do it all before the end of July. Ron Washington has put the